Hello BookTube, it's Louise from the Big Head Bookworm. How are you? Are you having a good day? I'm having a very good day, thank you very much. I've got some more books for you. Oh yes I have, yet some more April books. Now I've done really well with bargains on this range. I've had a good old mooch through some second-hand bookshops and some charity shops nearby, and I've done really well. The first two I actually ordered online, but I ordered used copies of this, and this was because these are part of a series that I'm reading at the moment, and they're really good fillers. When you've finished a book and you think, oh, I don't know what to read, and you just want something that kind of jolts you out of that mood and into some other mood. Some people call it a book hangover. It doesn't ever really last long enough for me to say that it's a book hangover. I more feel I just need a jolt out of one mood to another, or one genre to another. So I tend to use these kind of they're kind of Highlander romances with a bit of paranormal thrown in. They're all by Karen Marie Monning. This is Kiss of the Highlander, and I have the Dark Highlander. I've got a couple up here. I've read about 3 or 4 of them so far. They're really easy, one-day reads. A bit racy, oh yes, I won't deny, but they're good fun, and they're just good moods to jolt you out, good books to jolt you out of where you are, really, and I quite like them. The only thing I would say about these two, they only seem to be available in this mass market edition, which I don't mind, but both of these said used good, and you can't quite see, but I would say used. I wouldn't say used good, because both of them look like somebody obviously had a disagreement with the spine on both of them. Oh, and I know mass markets do break easily, and yet they don't seem to feel red, but the spines are broken. Anyway, whatever, I don't mind. They'll be very good. So those are on my shelf, ready to pick up when I just think, oh, I just need something, and I'm not sure what. That's what I'm going to go for. Then I went to a bookshop in Letchworth that's very well known in this area called David's, and it is a second-hand, and well, it used to have several bookshops. It used to have a second-hand bookshop, a normal bookshop, you know, new books bookshop, and it had a music bookshop as well, and I believe that they kind of put them all in one, and there's a cafe in there as well. It's very nice, and so Benedict and I went on his Easter break and had a good old mooch round, because he likes a bookshop as much as I did, and it's called David's, as I say, and I found 2 used books. So I found this, it's called A Medal for Murder by Frances Brodie, and I believe this is the second in the Kate Shackleton series. I haven't read any Frances Brodie, but I have I've yearned after them, and I've had a look because I really like the covers. These are 1920s crime books, and Kate Shackleton. They're mysteries, Kate Shackleton mystery. And as you know, if you watch any of my videos, you know I like period mysteries and murder mysteries. So yeah, this is only a couple of years old, so that's a beautiful, and it's a lovely condition for a used book. And I bought this one. I like Pride and Prejudice, love Pride and Prejudice, and I quite like any retellings. So I got this one. Pride and Prejudice and Zombies. There's just nothing more to say, is there, really? Pride and Prejudice and Zombies. Yes, and it's by Jane Austen, Natch, and Seth Graham Smith. I was seeing it on somebody else's channel, and I remember thinking, what? So I saw it and I thought, I've got to have it. It's got to be done. It's got to be done. So I will report back to see whether that is as silly as it looks. I suspect it is. And I went to another bookshop, and these were 3 for £5 in the used charity bookshop, and looking at these 3 books, I don't think they've ever been opened, so I was very pleased with this. This is the first one I got. Now this is familiar to me. It's called The Left Hand of God by Paul Hoffman, and I can't remember why it's familiar to me, so either somebody said something about it somewhere on BookTube, or when I was a bookseller it came out and I knew about it, or I can't remember what it is, but it is a fantasy story. I believe this is the first in the trilogy. His name is Cale, though they told him he could destroy the world. Maybe he will. You don't want to be stood next to him when he does that, do you? That'd be really annoying. Anyway, it sounds good. It's a fantasy read. It's not too long. I believe it's the first in the trilogy, but I will find out as I go along. The second one I got was called Love Nina, Dispatches from a Family Life. And I've heard about this quite a few times. Nina Stibble, in 1982, Nina Stibble was a 20-year-old nanny from Leicester who moved to London to work as a nanny for a very particular family. It was a perfect match. Nina had no idea how to cook, look after children, or who the weirdos who called round were. And the family, busy discussing how to swear in German or the merits, or otherwise, of turkey mince, were delighted by her lack of skills. Love Nina is a collection of letters she wrote home, gloriously describing her domestic life, the unpredictable house guests, and the cat everyone used to love to hate. So it is non-fiction, but apparently it's really light-hearted, it's really funny and really heartwarming. So I thought I'd give that a go. And then I picked up this slight departure, Emotional Intelligence by Daniel Goleman. We've got one or two other Daniel Goleman books in the house, and I remember thinking it would be a good idea to get this one as well, Emotional Intelligence, Why It Can Matter More Than IQ. And I'm kind of interested in that kind of stuff, so at some point I will pick this up and read it. It's not going to be first on my wish list, but I just thought, well, I've got to have that, and again, unused. So that's a good one. Then I went to, this was only yesterday, I went to a charity bookshop, and yet another one. I can't pass one without nipping in. And I hadn't been to this one before, but I'd had high hopes actually, because I'd heard somebody else mention it, and I thought, oh, I'll go there. Anyway, I couldn't believe I got 6 books for £3. I know, it's ridiculous. And there's some great books I got here, really great books I got here. So the first one I picked up was A Tale for Time Being by Ruth Zecchi, shortlisted for the Man Booker Prize in 2013. Now, I've seen this on quite a lot of people's channels, and I know quite a lot of people do really enjoy Ruth Zecchi. It says, within the pages of this book lies the diary of a girl called Nao. Riding the waves of a tsunami, it's making its way across the ocean. It will change the life of the person who finds it. It might just change yours too. I don't really know what it's about, but apparently it is fabulous literary fiction. Sounds like it's got a bit of a sci-fi element to it, doesn't it? A fantastical element to it. Then I got this, that'll be no surprise to you, Jacqueline Winspear, Leaving Everything Most Loved. It's a Maisie Dobbs novel. Again, it's a 1930s crime mystery featuring Maisie Dobbs is the detective. So yeah, set in London. I've not read any Jacqueline Winspear, but I have heard really good things about her, and if you like that kind of genre, then apparently she's really fabulous. Look at that. Look at that. Moonraker by Ian Fleming. And what a stylish cover. It's a red spine vintage classic, and I just think that's beautiful. And on the back they've got that little thing leading up to Diamonds Are Forever. And I love James Bond, and I've never read Ian Fleming. And I saw this edition and thought, I might well be collecting those, because if they are all as beautiful as this is, I just thought I've got to give it a go. So this is the 3rd James Bond that he wrote, Ian Fleming. It's got an introduction by Susan Hill, and I really like Susan Hill as well. So yes, Moonraker by Ian Fleming. Then I picked up this. It's called Shadow Forest by Matt Haig. I've got a couple of books by Matt Haig, and I've read none of them, which is a bit daft, and I keep picking up books. But this is a unread. A lot of these are unread, actually. Unread book called The Shadow Forest. It's for 9+, and it's Samuel Blink is the hero of this story, but he doesn't know it yet. And it's a bit spooky. It's something to do with he hasn't the slightest clue. Martha will disappear into the Shadow Forest, a forest full of one-eyed trolls, the sinister hoodle folk, deadly truth pixies, and a witch who steals shadows. So I think that sounds really good. The idea is that I would read it and then see whether it would be suitable for Benedict, but actually I just want to read it. Let's be honest, it sounds great. So at some point I should be picking that up. I'm thinking it won't take me too long to read it. The Suspicions of Mr. Witcher, or The Murder at Road Hill House. This is a true story. This is a true story about a murder which happened on 30th of June in 1860. Now, there was a TV series, or at least a docudrama that was made out of this as well. And this is this case sparked off, if I remember rightly, this case sparked off Wilkie Collins writing The Moonstone. So the idea is that this case, which is a true case, Mr. Witch was a true detective. It was all the reporting of this crime which happened that sparked off Wilkie Collins' ideas of writing The Moonstone and The Woman in White, which are always heralded as the first ever detective novels. I don't believe they are, but I think they're certainly one of the first very well-known ones. And I love Wilkie Collins. I read this when it first came out in 2008, and I read it then and thoroughly enjoyed it. I can't believe I didn't have a copy of it, and I saw this. I thought, I've got to give that a go. So that's, 50p for that. So it has been read, but it's a really good book, and I probably will pick it up again, actually, because it was really good. And this was the last one I got, and this was actually to make up the 6, because it was, each one you got 3 for 2. You can get 3 for 2, and they were all, well, anyway, I needed to get 6 in total, and so I saw this one. It's called Under the Duvet by Marion Keyes. I do really enjoy Marion Keyes, and this is non-fiction. This is like a collection of essays about her, and not very serious. When people ask me what I do for a crust and I tell them I'm a novelist, they immediately assume that my life is non-stop carousel of limos, television appearances, hairdos, devoted fans, stalkers, and all the glitzy paraphernalia of being a public figure. It's time to set the record straight. I write alone in a darkened bedroom, wearing my PJs, eating bananas, my laptop on a pillow in front of me. So that sounds brilliant. So that sounds a light-hearted read, which I shall give a go. So there we go. So lots of lovely books, which I shall thoroughly enjoy reading. And what a collection. A bit of something for every mood, I believe. Even serious, if I want to read about emotional intelligence. How emotionally intelligent are you? I have my good days and I have my bad days, I imagine, like everyone. Hope you're well, everybody, and I look forward to seeing you sometime. Bye-bye.